everybody, Lord Maim here with another Insanity walkthrough for Mass Effect 3. This mission is Priority Mars, the second mission. And one thing to keep in mind when going into this mission is that your reputation will start to play into how your game will unfold. If endings are important to you, make sure that you start building up your reputation points early, particularly with interrupts that you'll see when talking with James. At the end of this mission, you'll have a conversation with the elusive man, which will actually affect the outcome of the game itself. Eventually, your conversation will be interrupted by a message from Admiral Hackett, who will redirect you from the Citadel and instead send you to Mars, where you'll meet up with Dr. Liara T'Soni, your former companion from Mass Effect 1, and also from Mass Effect 2 in the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC. If you're importing a previous Mass Effect 3 character, one of the important things to remember is that each time you restart the game, that your squad mates will actually have their attribute points reset. You'll still have all the points, but you'll have to reallocate them. So take the time at the beginning of the level to go through your companions' abilities and reassign them appropriately. If you're careful coming around this corner and don't immediately charge in, you can sneak up on 5 Cerberus troops that are about to execute an Alliance scientist. There are 8 total in the area, but only the first 5 are immediately visible. Once you start the firefight, the others will stream in, however, so try to pick off as many as possible in the opening exchange. Stay behind cover around the left side of this area. It's harder to use the cheat the corner technique with a sniper rifle because you do expose yourself more. However, it is still a good position to sweep across the area, taking out the assault troopers as they appear. And when using the cheat the corner technique, you will want to sweep from right to left, attacking those enemies that are in danger of flanking you first, and then proceeding around the cover, going from right to left. Anytime you find that your shield has gone down all the way, just duck behind cover. The enemies won't be able to charge you in this position, but even if you're not in danger of death, you will want to save your meta-gels for later in the game, where it's critical to either resurrect a teammate who's out of range of being manually resurrected, or for just getting your health back. Later in the game, you'll find your health meter drops precipitously if you're not careful. So again, I'm strictly going for straight kills, trying to get headshots where possible. Also, you may want to supplement your attacks with an ammo power. I like to use Incinerate at the beginning of the game. You'll want to supplement that as well with Disruptor ammo or Warp ammo if you have the bonus power from the first playthrough of Mass Effect 3. Make sure to pick up ammo as well between encounters. As you go further in the game, you'll find yourself in danger of running out of ammo more and more. In the second encounter, you'll see a total of 4 troops just guarding the entrance to the facility. Again, just stay behind cover and use the cheat the corner technique to safely dispatch the assault troopers without too much difficulty. If you ever see grenades coming towards your position, try to either run or roll out of the way as quickly as possible. They have a deceptively long range, especially on Insanity. You'll find yourself dying when, in theory, you think that you should have been alright. So just take the time to move out of the range of the explosive. The second that the indicator disappears from your screen, you're out of range. But as far as possible, in any case, if you can't get out of range, you may as well minimize the damage it'll do to you. Once you've taken care of all the Cerberus troops in the area, head up the ramp for a short cutscene between yourself and Ashley Williams, now 150% hotter for Mass Effect 3. Unfortunately, before you can seal the deal, Liara pops out of a vent, being chased by 2 Cerberus troops, who she'll take care of in characteristically brutal Shadow Broker fashion. James, being the odd man out, is sent back to the ship, while the 3 of you remaining head off to the Prothean archives in another part of the facility. Having Liara in your party from this point on will dramatically change the way you want to approach combat. Her Singularity ability, which you're forced to use in the third encounter, will actually be very useful for crowd control throughout most of the game. Despite the fact that she has relatively low life, I actually use Liara quite a bit. Having the Singularity ability at your fingertips is invaluable in crowd control situations where you're dealing with husks or cannibals or any large number of unarmored, unshielded enemies. As long as you keep a close eye on her position relative to enemies, she can stay back in relative safety and still use the Singularity ability not only to perform crowd control, but to set up combination attacks with other abilities that you might be using at the time for additional damage. Coupled with Garrus and his Overload ability, you can easily take care of most of the enemies in the game without too much difficulty. Once you've taken care of those troops, hit the button to raise the lift that will allow you to vault across. There'll be an ammo container here that you can fill up on before you go. Just jump straight across and then through the door on the opposite side. Incidentally, in these videos I will not be going out of my way to locate weapons or equipment that do not fall in the main path that you'll be traveling. I still recommend that you do explore though on your own to find all the weapons and mods that you can over the course of the game. They will make your life in Insanity a lot easier. Starting Encounter 4, you'll actually see another way to use the Singularity ability, not so much as a direct crowd control weapon, but as an area denial weapon. I plant a Singularity here right at the edge of this barrier where the enemies tend to take cover. If you look, this 4th Assault Trooper, as he takes cover behind that barrier and moves to the left, he actually gets sucked into the Singularity and instantly pops up for you to attack. So it's good to put in choke points whether or not there's enemies there, just to either herd them into other areas or to have it instantly take effect when they move into the area of the Singularity. I keep the secondary ability in mind when choosing Liara's power choices. At rank 4, I tend to select duration rather than radius, so that there's a greater amount of time held up by the Singularity power. At rank 5, I'll choose recharge speed so that she's able to use it more often. And at rank 6, I'll choose expand to make a larger field for a greater area denial effect. I don't tend to use it as a direct damage weapon. It's generally used to set up attacks by the other squad members, either for another biotic power or for a direct attack while the enemy is floating helplessly in the air. I've just cut away from some cinematics where the pedway that you're trying to get to you can't access, so you can cut across the roof. You'll eventually come to an area after climbing a ladder where you're going through this darkened area. There's a couple of items that you can pick up along the way. I haven't actually gone and done any exploring, but they should be pretty obvious to you if you just go down these side areas and do a little exploration. But straight ahead down this stairwell is your next encounter. You'll, as soon as you come to this little piece of cover here, this counter, the blast shields will open up, allowing you to shoot through the glass. Make your first couple of shots count. If you have a sniper rifle, you might want to use that, so you might be able to take out more than one in a row if you have penetration. Otherwise, I lobbed a grenade in there after my initial attack, as well as triggered the Singularity ability that Liara has. It's a relatively brief encounter, not much to worry about. If you don't take them all out in the immediate attack, just move up to this piece of cover next to the window so you can cheat the corner and take out any remaining enemies that are left. Once complete, have a look in the area for ammunition or other items, then hop through the window where you broke it during the initial attack.
Did you know any of these people, Liara? I recognize a few, but I can't say I knew them. As the only Asari here, I think perhaps I was viewed with a little suspicion.
Hitting the environmental controls here will also trigger the next cinematic, which I will also edit out for the purpose of this video.
Bits and pieces, really. We need to pressurize the room first.
Okay, having pressurized the next area, you'll be able to go through this door at the end of the hallway, and you can hear the enemies talking before you see them, so proceed with caution and don't alert them. Pick up any sort of ammo or these mods here before going through the next door. Can't quite see them yet on the radar, but going through this next door you'll be able to get the jump on them. Again, try to open up with a heavy damage initial attack. There's 2 guardians as well as 4 assault troopers. I started with a grenade. You can also supplement that with a Singularity right at the beginning. Again, stay behind cover here to the left and cheat the corner. If you haven't already gotten the mail slot trophy, you can whip out your sniper rifle and try to put one through the hole of their shield, their viewport. It's not an easy shot at distance, so just keep at it. You'll have plenty of opportunities to rack them up over the course of the game, so if you haven't on your first playthrough, you will on your Ascendancy playthrough with no difficulty at all. Once this first wave is completed, advance down the left side of the hall, being careful to look around this corner before popping out of cover, and being ready to hit this next group of enemies right away. You can see them now on your radar before you actually come around the corner here. In this encounter, there'll be 8 assault troopers and a centurion right at the back of the area, which is shielded. Just take your time going through this area, staying behind cover and cheating the corner. Use your assault rifle as much as possible in this early part before the enemies withdraw. At the end of the area, you'll have to rely on your sniper rifle when you either run low on ammo or the enemies are simply too far back to hit effectively. But if you run out of ammo or you're running low on ammo, swap out for your sniper, try to pick them off as quickly as possible. Since the Centurion is shielded and you don't have access to an overload ability at this point, you'll be forced to just overwhelm their shields with raw attacks. You can either use the Disruptor ammo ability or just straight headshots like I'm doing here. A couple of headshots will usually take out the Centurion's armor, and then as they're paralyzed by the singularity I have at this point, you can then pick them off at your leisure with whichever weapon you have ammo left for. Again, singularity is very useful in this encounter since the area is very narrow. Putting a singularity right at the end of this doorway prevents the enemies from coming out, and any ones that do pop out immediately get sucked up by the singularity. Once you've dispatched a certain number of the enemies, Wave 3 will trigger, which will also bring some additional assault troopers as well as 2 guardians in from the hallway at the end of the area. At this point, you see I'm running a little bit low on sniper rifle ammunition. I've got 4 rounds left. There's a couple of static spawns on the right-hand side that you can pick up that'll always be there. What you may want to do is allow 1 or 2 of the assault troopers to proceed down the hallway before taking them out. That way, when they drop ammo, or if they drop ammo, it'll be closer to you. You'll be able to reach it before it despawns without exposing yourself to too much additional enemy fire. Here, since I don't have sniper rifle rounds, I'm reduced to using my assault rifle. With a Guardian, even though they're shielded per se with their actual riot shield, they're not shielded in the sense that they have like an electric barrier shield. So you can still use Singularity on a Guardian, and it's actually a very effective technique to make them helpless. They'll drop their shield when floating in the air, making them just as easy to hit as a regular assault trooper. I also tend to use the incendiary ammo. Not only does it do additional damage to unshielded enemies or armored enemies, but when their armor is reduced, if they have any, they'll actually occasionally catch on fire, which will not only do additional damage over time, but it will also have a panicking effect on some enemies. They have a random chance of starting to freak out and not attack you while on fire, thus making your job a little bit easier as well. So keep continuing up the left-hand side, cheating the corner where possible, and using the sniper rifle where not possible. Once the enemies withdraw, you'll be able to proceed and pick up any additional ammo or grenades that are left in the area before proceeding to the next area. In this next room here, you'll have to maneuver 2 barriers using the switches on either side of the doorway. The barriers do rotate while they're moving, so you'll have to be aware of the angle before you start turning them on and off. The doorway that you're trying to reach is in the far right-hand side. There are also a data pad and a mod to pick up. You'll see here first I'll go for the mod that's on the left-hand side by stopping the barriers and then proceeding into the room itself. You see the barrier is far enough to the left that I can access the mod,
This is where they studied the various relics unearthed
but
here.
not actually reach the doorway. So I'll go back out after checking the room.
More than I could describe in a short
There's also, of
conversation.
course, a medkit.
And they'd only scratched the surface. There are vaults filled with Prothean data troves that have never been studied.
Medkit's always useful, even if you have full metagel, just for the additional experience points. On Insanity, you get more than you would on a normal level, but extra experience never hurts. Once the barrier is maneuvered in such a way that you can access the far right-hand side of the room, hit the button, go into the room, and through to the next area.
That's the tram line. Takes us right to the archives. No doubt Cerberus has it locked down. Hopefully we can override it at the security station.
Nothing to the
It's
right.
just through
You can
here.
avoid going to the right. You're welcome. After picking up the shotgun here in the middle of the hallway, you can proceed through the doorway to the left. There's nothing else in the alcove straight ahead. And as you can see, I'm getting the intervening 3 levels of the shotgun that I hadn't upgraded to, as I mentioned in the previous video. It's a cheap way to make up some of the upgrades you may not have gotten in the first playthrough. Once going through this door, you'll see that there is a automated turret at the end of the hallway across the room. So it'll trigger another little cover-based tutorial following up on the one that you had in the first level. You'll see that the cover-based system is improved dramatically from Mass Effect 2, allowing you not only to maneuver by rolling, but also to kind of roll from cover to cover and automatically take cover. If you're in cover, you can see the direction of the arrow that comes off of the cover will indicate how Shepard will react. Either he'll proceed straight ahead or try to move to the left or right.
Get me out of here.
You see here I can actually roll forward and into cover to take cover almost immediately. If there's cover within the range of your roll, you'll automatically take cover behind it. You can also maneuver around corners here. I had a little bit of a difficulty when I did it, but you can actually move around the corner and still stay in cover, so be careful to do that when you're trying to move around corners.
Keep your head down.
Once you've reached the far side of the area and you're hitting this piece of double high cover and relative safety, and open this door, you'll trigger encounter 7 with 3 regular assault troopers and a centurion. Again, you can try to cheat the corner here, but I haven't found that they usually come out to attack you until you proceed into the room itself. So from here, use Singularity to do crowd control and pick off the troopers one at a time from safety. The Centurion is again shielded, so just overwhelm his shields with your regular fire. If you want to, you can also trade up for Disruptor ammo, which will make the job of taking down the Centurion shields a lot easier. Another thing that the Centurion does frequently is drop these smoke grenades, which actually obscure vision in the area. There are upgrades for your sniper rifle sight so that you can see through the smoke, but nothing for your assault rifle. In this kind of range, it's not even worth switching to your sniper rifle and trying to peer through the smoke if you have that sight equipped. From this range, you may as well just wait the smoke out and then continue on with the fight. Again, once the shield of the Centurion has been dropped, you can use the Singularity to cause them to fly up as well. While shielded or armored units will not be affected by Singularity. You see here, now that the Centurion was in cover, he has no shield, I'm able to use the Singularity to pop him up and kill him. Once all the enemies in the room have been taken care of, you can proceed to the console and trigger the next cinematic. Triggering this auto turret console, you'll actually have another cinematic where Ashley finds a comlink on a dead Cerberus trooper. With the comlink, you're able to contact the other Cerberus groups and have them send a tram over for you to access the archives area.
Anybody there?
You'll have a short tutorial where you're shown how to order your squad into certain positions and into cover. And in the center of the area at the back, there'll be a piece of high cover that you can use to cheat the corner and hit all of the troops that come off the tram in complete safety. There are a lot of normal assault troopers in addition to a Centurion and a Guardian. So try to take out the enemies as quickly as possible, particularly the ones that are approaching your other squad mates. You see I'm using Adrenaline Rush here a lot in conjunction with the sniper rifle. I would highly recommend when playing Insanity to play as a soldier build for the Adrenaline Rush ability. Not only does it have a time dilation effect that you can enhance through your choices at the higher unlock levels, but also it does additional damage to enemies when you're attacking, so it's kind of a double whammy. Not only are you getting more time to line up your shots, but your shots are doing more damage, which is key on Insanity, where ammo is at a premium and enemies can absorb so much more damage. The build that I actually recommend for Soldier at rank 4, we have the option take Dilation and Damage, which increases your time dilation by 20%, increases weapon damage by 40%. At rank 5, take Duration instead of melee damage. That increases your power duration by 40%, which gives you a little extra leeway when lining up your shots. And at rank 6, take Shield Boost, which gives your shield an additional 50%. That extra boost to your shields means that you can actually pop out of cover a little bit while in Adrenaline Rush and take some time to line up your shots. Once you've taken care of the last Cerberus trooper, hit the console inside the tram to send yourself on your way. Bomb along the tracks will cause the car to derail, forcing you to deal with another encounter of the incoming tram. If you time it just right with Liara's Singularity, you can actually have the Singularity sweep through the entire car, taking out a lot of the troops at once. You see there I hit, I think, 4 of the troops, leaving just a couple left that I have to deal with manually. I'm not sure if the troops are swept out of the car or if they're just killed by the combination of the Singularity and the tram hitting them, but it seemed to effectively take out the large portion of the troops that you have to face here. If necessary, you can just jump directly over into the other car and deal with the troops hand to hand. But there's a lot of cover here, you may as well use it, cheat the corner, and take out the last couple here. Once they're all killed, jump across to the other tram, hit the button in the second tram, and you'll go over into the other station. Now be ready for a rather large encounter as soon as you hit the station. Start off with your sniper rifle if at all possible. As soon as you get control again, you'll see that at the back of the area there will be a Centurion as well as a large number of assault troopers. Approximately 10 troopers, and eventually there will be a second wave that'll have some Guardians as well that will advance on your position. Continue to use Liara for crowd control. You'll want to make sure she doesn't just jump out into the line of fire. Sometimes she does that. If you have smoke or the grenades coming to your position, back up and wait for them to clear. You'll see there also another change between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. The Unity ability in Mass Effect 2 required that you have Metagel at all times when trying to revive members of your squad. However, in Mass Effect 3, if you're able to get to where your squad member has been downed, you can actually revive them without using Metagel. The only time you'll need to use Metagel to revive a member of your squad is if they're remote, like you can't get to them, Or say, for example, if two of them go down at once, it's in your best interest sometimes to use that, especially if you have, in this case, where I have a couple of units of life down. I'm at about 3 units of life now, so it'll recharge those at the same time. Continue to use the sniper rifle to clear out enemies in the area. There'll be a glass wall, a glass window between you and the Centurion at the back of the room, so you won't be able to hit them right away. You see it shattered there a little bit. When you run out of space, you can always advance and use the edge of the tram or the side of the tram as cover while cheating the corner. Once the Centurion comes out, you'll see the 4 Guardians there in the background also coming out. They'll advance on your position steadily. You can use Singularity to take care of them, as well as the other assault troopers that may still be remaining at this point. So you can see there that the shield is actually no defense against the Singularity. Once he advances into that Singularity, he'll be lifted up, same as all the other assault troopers. It's a really, really narrow window you have to hit to get that mail slot. If you find you're running low on ammunition, again, you can try to lure some of the enemies in to a closer point to kill them. Hopefully they'll drop ammo nearer to you. If not, you'll have to rely on breaking cover and trying to advance and get the ammunition before it despawns, which can be a tricky proposition in this area because it's a large open area with a great deal of enemies. Also, if you find that the enemy is down to its last couple bars of life, you can sometimes let them go and see if Liara's Singularity will finish them off, either from the small amount of damage that it actually does, or from the impact as it flings them across the room when it ends. So you can sometimes save some ammo by doing that as well. At the far side of the area, there'll be some weapons and mods to pick up in these 2 cabinets on either side of the door you'll be entering to continue with the mission. There's also a med kit in the terminal in the center area that you'll want to pick up before opening the door and triggering the next cinematic. So once you do, you'll have an encounter with the elusive man. This is what I had alluded to earlier in this commentary. If you don't have a sufficient reputation by this point and you fail to convince the elusive man or persuade the elusive man during this conversation, you'll actually miss out on being able to do so at the end of the game. So again, very important your reputation is high going into this mission. After you encounter Dr. Eva and Ashley gets knocked down, you'll have a chase session which will round out the end of this mission. There's literally nothing you can do to catch Dr. Eva at this point. You just have to keep pace with her until she reaches the end of the mission and you have one final encounter. Just keep pace, try to move around cover rather than trying to vault it if possible. It tends to slow you down a little bit if you don't vault correctly. Sometimes you're forced to, like right there, but for the most part you can move around the cover rather than having to try vaulting it. You see here, like, while I'm moving slowly, she tends to slow down a little bit, but when I'm in range of catching her, she'll speed up, so the rubber banding effect will keep you from being close enough to catch her, but usually you can keep pace and not have any problems with falling too far behind. Once you reach this last area and Eva goes for the other shuttle, you'll call in for James or the Normandy, which will trigger kind of an epic scene here.
I got this one.
And this is why we can't have nice things. Of course, the crash won't kill Dr. Eva, forcing a confrontation between her and Ashley, which really doesn't go well for Ash, unfortunately. Leaving you to save the day with a few well-placed headshots. Keep peppering Dr. Eva until she goes down, and that will be the end of Priority Mars. An extremely long mission, end-to-end. Now that you've recovered Dr. Tassoni and the information from the Prothean Archive on the Crucible, and with the unfortunately grave injuries suffered by Ashley, you're now free to go to the Citadel and speak to the Council and proceed with your missions from there. This will also unlock the first of the optional and therefore missable N7 missions, which are still required as part of the 27 missions you'll need to complete on Insanity level for the Unwavering trophy. And we'll be covering that next time in the Mass Effect 3 Insanity walkthrough, Part 3, N7 Cerberus Lab. Till then, I'm Lord Maim. Thanks for watching.